You are kneeling on cold limestone in the shadowed chambers of Memphis Palace, your hands trembling as you prepare the morning ritual that will transform your mistress into a goddess. The year is 1323 BC, and you serve Ankhesenamun, wife of the boy pharaoh Tutankhamun. The bronze mirror before you reflects flickering oil lamp flames, casting dancing shadows across walls adorned with hieroglyphs that seem to writhe in the uncertain light. Your fingers close around the first implement of transformation, a razor-sharp obsidian blade that gleams like black water in the amber glow. The scent hits you before you even begin. Sweet frankincense mingles with something far more disturbing, the metallic tang of blood and the acrid bite of crushed minerals that will soon coat your queen's skin. Behind you, other servants arrange the tools of royal beautification. Ivory combs carved from elephant tusks, bronze tweezers that catch the light like predatory claws, and ceramic pots filled with substances that would make a modern person's skin crawl. This is not vanity as we understand it today. This is religious obligation, political necessity, and systematic self-torture disguised as divine transformation. The queen stirs on her cedar wood chair, its legs carved to resemble the paws of sphinxes. Her natural beauty would be stunning by any era's standards, but natural beauty means nothing in the court of the pharaohs. To appear before the gods and the people of Egypt without proper preparation would be not just improper, but blasphemous. Every morning, Ankhesenamun must die as a mortal woman and be reborn as a living deity. And that transformation requires rituals that would horrify even the most dedicated beauty enthusiast of our time. Before diving into these forgotten stories of survival and suffering, if you enjoy learning about the hidden truths of history, consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more content like this. And please comment below to let me know where you're listening from. I find it incredible that we're exploring these ancient stories together from different parts of the world, connected across time and space by our shared curiosity about the past. The daily beauty ritual of an Egyptian queen was not a routine, it was an ordeal. Each morning brought hours of procedures so extreme and dangerous that court physicians stood by with remedies for the inevitable injuries and poisoning that would result. What we're about to explore together goes far beyond simple cosmetics. These were religious ceremonies that demanded physical sacrifice, political theatre that required genuine suffering, and beauty standards so extreme they literally killed the women who pursued them. Today, you'll discover why Egyptian queens willingly endured procedures that would be considered torture in any other context. You'll learn about the toxic substances they painted on their bodies, the surgical modifications they underwent to achieve divine beauty, and the horrifying lengths they went to in pursuit of eternal youth. Most shocking of all, you'll understand how these practices weren't accidents or ignorance, but carefully calculated rituals designed to demonstrate power, devotion, and the supernatural nature of royal blood. The obsidian blade in your hands grows warm from your grip as you prepare for the first step in Ankhesenamun's daily transformation. This isn't just any blade. It's been blessed by priests of Ptah, sharpened to a molecular edge that can slice through human hair without the slightest pressure. The queen's face is serene, almost meditative, as she prepares for what's coming next. She's done this every day since her marriage to Tutankhamun, and she'll continue until death claims her, or age makes the rituals impossible to endure. The process begins with complete hair removal, but not in any way you might imagine. Egyptian queens removed every single hair from their bodies using techniques that were both agonizing and dangerous. The obsidian blade slides across her scalp with practiced precision, each stroke removing not just hair, but the thin layer of dead skin beneath. Blood wells in tiny droplets across her head, each cut deliberate and necessary. The goal isn't just hairlessness, it's the complete erasure of natural human texture, creating a surface smooth as polished stone. Her eyebrows disappear next, plucked hair by hair with bronze tweezers heated in oil lamp flames. The hot metal sears each follicle as it removes the hair, creating permanent damage that ensures the brows will never grow back properly. Ankhesenamun's eyes water involuntarily, but she makes no sound. To cry out during the beauty ritual would suggest weakness, and weak queens don't survive long in the brutal politics of ancient Egypt. The body hair removal continues with increasing intensity. Every surface of skin must be perfectly smooth, from the obvious areas to places modern people would never consider touching. Hot wax made from beeswax and tree resins is applied to her legs, arms, and more intimate areas. But this isn't the refined salon wax of today. This mixture contains crushed shells and sand, creating a paste that adheres so completely to hair and skin that removal feels like being flayed alive. The servants work in practiced silence, their movements choreographed through years of experience. One holds the queen's skin taut, while another applies the scalding wax. The third waits with cloth strips that will rip away hair and significant amounts of skin. The queen's knuckles are white where she grips the arms of her chair, but her face remains composed in the mask of divine serenity expected of royal women. When the hair removal is complete, Ankhesenamun's body looks like it belongs to a living statue rather than a human being. Her skin is raw and bleeding in dozens of places, covered in tiny cuts and burns that will take days to heal only to be reopened in the next morning's ritual. But this is just the beginning. The real horror starts when the cosmetics are applied. The foundation used by Egyptian queens was made from white lead, mixed with chalk and various oils. Modern science knows that lead is one of the most toxic substances humans can absorb through their skin, causing brain damage, kidney failure, and death. But to ancient Egyptians, the pale, otherworldly appearance created by lead makeup was the height of divine beauty. The whiter the skin, the more godlike the queen appeared to her subjects. The application process requires nearly an hour of careful work. The lead paste is heated until it becomes liquid, then painted onto the queen's skin with brushes made from human hair. The mixture burns as it touches her raw, freshly shaved skin, but the burning sensation is considered proof that the transformation is working. As the lead cools and hardens, it creates a mask-like surface that completely obscures the natural color and texture of human skin. The eyes receive special attention because they're considered the windows to the divine soul. Kohl made from ground galena, a lead sulfide mineral, is applied in thick lines that extend far beyond the natural eye shape. This isn't just eyeliner, it's architectural modification of the face designed to make the eyes appear supernaturally large and luminous. The galena is mixed with animal fat and honey, creating a paste that goes rancid within hours in Egypt's heat. But the most disturbing part of the eye treatment isn't the toxic kohl. It's the deliberate scarification that creates permanent lines around the eyes. Using needles dipped in various dyes, servants create decorative scars that will never fully heal. These scars are considered the ultimate mark of royal beauty, proof that the queen has undergone the most extreme beautification rituals available to mortals. The lips are painted with a mixture that defies modern understanding of cosmetic safety. Crushed beetles provide the red pigment, mixed with clay from sacred sites and oils that have been blessed by priests. The mixture contains enough natural toxins to cause numbness and swelling, but these effects are considered desirable because they make the lips appear fuller and more sensual. As the morning ritual continues, you begin to understand that what you're witnessing isn't beauty treatment in any recognizable sense. This is systematic self-destruction in service of an ideal so extreme that achieving it requires genuine sacrifice of health, comfort, and ultimately life itself. The transformation reaches its most horrifying peak with the application of mercury-based cosmetics designed to create the luminous, eternal glow associated with divine beings. Servants approach carrying ceramic vessels that seem to pulse with their own internal light. The contents are liquid mercury mixed with powdered pearls and gold dust, a combination so toxic that the servants handling it wear thick leather gloves, and breathe through cloth filters soaked in wine. Mercury poisoning was well known to Egyptian physicians, but the cosmetic effects were considered worth the risk. The liquid metal creates an otherworldly shimmer on the skin that seems to glow from within, making the queen appear as if she's been touched by starlight. The application requires delicate brushwork across the queen's shoulders, arms, and décolletage, each stroke adding another layer of beautiful poison to her system. The effects begin almost immediately. Ankhesenamun's hands develop a subtle tremor that will persist throughout the day. Her vision becomes slightly blurred, and a metallic taste fills her mouth. These are early symptoms of mercury poisoning. But to the ancient Egyptians, they're proof that the queen is transcending mortal limitations and approaching divine status. The final stage of the ritual involves the application of what court documents call the tears of Ra. This substance, made from crystallized antimony mixed with various oils and perfumes, is painted around the queen's eyes in intricate patterns that mimic the protective symbols found on sarcophagi. Antimony is another deadly poison, but its ability to create brilliant, long-lasting color made it invaluable for royal cosmetics. As the servants work, you notice how their own hands have become stained and scarred from years of handling these toxic substances. Many court beauticians died young from chronic exposure to the poisons they applied to royal skin. Their deaths were considered honorable sacrifices in service to divine beauty, and their families were compensated with burial rites and monetary rewards. The physical transformation is now complete, but the psychological effects are just beginning. The combination of lead, mercury, and antimony creates a neurological cocktail that induces euphoria, hallucinations, and a sense of divine connection. Ankhesenamun's pupils dilate as the toxins enter her bloodstream, and her breathing becomes shallow and rapid. She experiences what ancient texts describe as communication with the gods, but what modern medicine would recognize as acute poisoning. These beauty rituals weren't daily occurrences for lesser members of the royal family. Most queens underwent the full transformation only for major ceremonies and religious festivals. But the most powerful queens, those who ruled as pharaohs in their own right, subjected themselves to these procedures every single day. The cumulative effect was catastrophic. Archaeological evidence suggests that Egyptian queens had significantly shorter lifespans than their male counterparts, with many dying in their 20s and 30s, from what appear to be systematic poisoning. The servants begin the cleanup process, carefully disposing of the toxic materials in specially designated containers that will be buried in sacred ground. Even the waste products of royal beautification are considered too dangerous for ordinary disposal methods. The brushes, combs, and application tools are cleaned with solutions designed to neutralize the various poisons, but many implements can only be used once before becoming too contaminated for safe handling. As Ankhesenamun rises from her chair, her transformation is complete. The woman who sat down hours ago no longer exists. In her place stands a living goddess, her skin glowing with unnatural luminescence, her eyes rimmed with perfect black lines that seem to extend into infinity. She moves with the careful precision of someone whose nervous system is under assault from multiple toxins, each step calculated to maintain the illusion of divine grace. The true horror of these rituals lies not in their immediate effects, but in their long-term consequences. Queens who underwent these procedures regularly developed chronic health problems that ancient physicians couldn't understand or treat. Memory loss, tremors, organ failure, and premature death were the inevitable results of pursuing beauty standards that required literal self-destruction. Yet these women continued the practices willingly, even eagerly. To refuse the beauty rituals would be to reject the divine nature of royal blood, to admit that queens were merely mortal women rather than living goddesses. The political and religious implications made refusal impossible, trapping generations of royal women in cycles of beautiful self-destruction. Modern archaeological analysis of Egyptian royal mummies reveals the devastating effects of these beauty practices. Hair samples show mercury levels hundreds of times higher than safe thresholds. Bone analysis reveals lead poisoning severe enough to cause brain damage and organ failure. Skin samples still contain traces of the toxic cosmetics applied thousands of years ago, preserved in the very flesh of women who died pursuing impossible standards of divine beauty. The morning sun streams through the palace windows as Ankhesenamun prepares to face another day as a living goddess. The servants pack away their instruments of transformation, already preparing for tomorrow's ritual. The obsidian blade that began this process catches the light one final time before disappearing into its protective case, ready to draw blood again in service of beauty so extreme it literally killed those who pursued it. In the shadows of Memphis Palace, where our story began, the silence now carries a different weight. The transformation is complete, but at what cost? These weren't beauty treatments in any sense we would recognize today. They were religious obligations that demanded genuine sacrifice, political necessities that required systematic self-destruction, and beauty standards so extreme they consumed the very lives they claimed to enhance. The queens who submitted to these rituals weren't victims of ignorance or primitive medical knowledge. They were willing participants in a culture that valued divine appearance over human life itself, creating beauty so terrible it could only exist in the shadowed chambers where mortal women died daily to be reborn as living goddesses.